Yo, Insomnia like.
Hey, what is up, guys? It's Fire Guy here, and today I'm making a video of
Remember that
my
shit?
good friend Mega-kun's book. It's an interview about her book. You guys better go check it out. It's really amazing, and it's really fucking sad as well. So if you guys are gonna read the book, and you guys having mental issues right now, viewer discretion is advised. Alright, I also forgot one more thing. You guys need to make sure you follow her Instagram. I'll post it down in the description box below and also in the annotations on the screen if I'm able to. Anyways, thank you guys for watching the video. As always, see you guys next time. Stay on fire and take it easy, guys.
Hello everybody and welcome. You might know me or you might not know me. Basically my name is Mugi. People call me Mugi for short. I am your local rec room writer. I recently opened a Wattpad account and basically I have a book. So this is what this interview is about. As you can tell by the sign, my real name is Annette. So if you guys want to check that out, you guys should follow me in my Instagram account. My Instagram is in my bio if you're here. And if not, if you're watching from any broadcast, it's at Mugi Spams. And yeah, that's about it. Today we're going to be doing an interview here with Rec Room Trash. And I can hear my echo through your thing.
Oh, shit, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So, we're gonna be just doing questions about the book and whatnot. So, yeah, that's basically what we're here. Thank you for coming, for everybody that's here. And, yeah. So, would you like to get started in the questions?
Oh, do you want me to read, the questions that people told me to do, or do you want me to do my own?
Whichever one you would like.
Alright, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I haven't seen you, like, at all. Nice, thank you for everybody that came here. Yeah, alright, so, basically, what inspired you to do this type of book and, like, emotion and all that stuff? Can you, like, give me like a brief summary about your life and what inspired you to do this?
Well, basically, I have severe eating disorder, I have schizophrenia, I have depression and all that, so my diagnosis mentally isn't a very good one, so therefore, my life hasn't really been the most stable one. I've been to the mental hospital. I've been just all over the place in my life.
I'm sorry for stopping. I did hear that about that, you going to a mental hospital. If you don't mind, can you tell me how it was like and how it contributed to your book?
Let's see. Well, it was probably one of the lowest points in my life. It wasn't that long ago. That's where some things happened where it really helped me grow as a person, and I realized that life's too short to be always like not taking the chance on doing something. And I remember the first day that I got there to the hospital, the first thing I wanted to do was write, and I probably took a little break from writing, and I thought like I wasn't good enough, so I kind of gave up on it. But then I couldn't write because they banned pens because they would be used as weapons in between the patients. So I was kind of like stuck there without writing. But I knew the first thing that I wanted to do when I got home was to write a book about my experience in being there and just how it all led to that one place in life that I probably never want to be in again.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Not a lot of people like to share that type of stuff.
You turn on the light.
But yeah,
It's too dark.
I read your book. It was really good. For people who don't know me, I run a Instagram called Rec Room Trash. It's very controversial in many many people with many people in the community. Um, but yeah, I heard about Mugi through a bunch of people, especially one user who decided to her. Um, but yeah, I read your book. I was very moved. Um, thank you for sharing that experience with all of us. That's very strong. Um, who who can you depend on when there's no one there? Like, were there any people who contributed to the book and motivated you to do the book?
Definitely my mom would be one of them because my mom has always been a big supporter of my writing ever since I started. Um,
Yeah.
she has always told me to write even though maybe it might not be good enough or whatnot. And like I said, I was taking a break from writing, but she inspired me to write my book and actually get it out there. And also my best friends that I have in Rec Room, just like my special people, Tiger Coon, Undead Smile, Bella, Boo, which they are out there, all of my friends, and just
Yeah.
like spill the candy. Oh, and I hear my echo again.
I'm sorry.
it's it's okay. But yeah, my friends in Rec Room were really a big part of who I am today, and they are the reason why also I even started the book, which sneak peek, there's a book coming out, which the main character is named Bella, so Bella knows this. So she's gonna be one of the main protagonists. This is how much they have influenced me in my life.
Wow. About your friends, I know a lot of them. Not to bring up any drama or anything. Most of them are very. I wouldn't say well. Most of them are well known. A lot of them have been through stuff. I've heard a lot of stuff through everybody. But yeah. With your book, when did you start writing this book? Exactly. Like, did you always want to be a writer when you grew up, or no?
Well, actually, no. The thing is, back in my freshman year, I fell in love with somebody, and during the heartbreak, a way to cope with it, I remember that I was in therapy, and they told me to just write my heart out, and that's where I discovered my passion. I remember a friend of mine, her name is Kayla. She's probably gonna see this. Well, I remember that during that time she was also going through a hard phase in her life, and I remember that her way of coping with it was writing. And I remember, hey, why don't I give it a shot and try writing about my own stuff and stuff like that. And then that's where I discovered that I really genuinely enjoyed writing, and it got me in a way to express my emotions and how I felt about my first heartbreak and how this person really affected me back then. And yeah.
Um, so when you were done, I'm assuming you're done with the book or no?
I'm halfway done.
Okay. This mainly this is for right now. What did you learn about writing this book? What did you learn about yourself? Did you learn anything about yourself that you didn't know, or did you, or no?
I learned that under a lot of pressure, I am really crappy at doing anything. I learned that I should take things a little bit slower and not try to make it into something forced, which is, I tend to make my updates each week, but I learned that I should also make it in whenever I want and when I feel happy about it, because if I don't, then I will feel like it's more like a job and it won't be like my hobby, it won't be my passion anymore. So I'm taking it my own rhythm, and if somebody genuinely likes my writing, they're gonna wait for me and they're gonna wait for my update and not on their own terms.
In the book, I am assuming that it's well, it's based about true stuff, right?
Yes.
Is there any hidden meaning behind any of the characters or any of the titles or any of that? You give us a little bit of
Uh,
backstory.
Well, one of the chapters that is not updated yet, which is talking about my first love, there is a lot of like little Easter egg hunts that probably he would only get. But there are some really emotional and really hard things to swallow in that chapter for somebody who has been through that before. So yeah, there are some hidden meanings in between there. So yeah.
Um, Thank you. So what what surprised you most about the reaction and all the people that flocked to your book? Did you think that it was overwhelming? How do you cope with that?
Well, honestly, I thought nobody was gonna read my book, but then I got a badge on Wattpad, which was like number 40 on biography. I lost the badge, but I lasted like a week with it, and I was really proud of myself. It was at first a little bit overwhelming, but I'm really proud of myself because I actually got there, and I actually did this, and it may not have a lot of views, but I'm proud of myself for what I did, and I don't need anybody telling me that that maybe what I'm doing is wrong or it's stupid, because I know it's not. And I have already received a lot of criticism, and especially from a user in Rec Room, which, not to start any drama or anything, but somebody that well, still attacks me a lot, literally posted it on their story saying how lame it was to even have a book out and how they're more famous than me and stuff. And I'm not doing it for the fame. I'm doing it because I genuinely want to do it outside of my heart, and because I really, really enjoy this, and this is something I love to do.
All right, we're gonna have to talk about that user later if you don't mind. But
Yeah,
for now, it's just about you and your book. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, do you see yourself doing more of this sort of stuff in the future, or do you see yourself doing something that will probably mm, something have to do with like another subject or
I picture myself doing this in the future. I definitely will make this book into a hard book, because that has been my dream since I started this book 5 years ago. So that's my goal, to get this released and get and help those who probably need it and probably have been in my position before. And yeah, that's my goal. So yeah, I definitely see myself doing this in 20, 30 years from now.
um if there's anything you have to say to the youth that would read your book, what would you have to say to them that were struggling like you did? What would you say to them?
I would definitely say it's not over even when you think it is. There's always a light under that dark, dark tunnel, and through experiences and somebody who's tried committing suicide like more than 20 times, it's always going to get better. And even when you think it's not, it always does. It always, always does, no matter what happens, or the people who leave your life, or the people that you meet. Things happen for a reason, and there's chapters in your life. Life is like a book, and you're the writer there, and I've always seen it like that, and you have to be charged of what you write and how to cope with it. So if anything, if I've learned about writing, it is learn to really manage the chapters and remember when to stop writing a chapter with somebody or when to turn the page over and start new, because life isn't easy and it's not going to get any easier. But if somebody else could do it, then most definitely they can do it as well.
Thank you for saying that. A lot of people that I know struggle with a lot of stuff, and that's really empowering. Um, in one of your chapters, I think it's about it's your mom, right? Am I wrong? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Hmm.
Tell me about that chapter, because I was reading it and I love how much thought you put into the words, and yeah, I just want to know about that part.
That chapter was mainly for all these people that try to protect their child as much as they can. My mom has always been an overprotective mother ever since I was little, and um, my mom has always tried to put me in this bubble that she thinks that nobody can hurt me or anything. And I know those are good mother intentions, but unfortunately life has broken that bubble and has put me through a lot and has put me through hell. But that's why I talk so highly about some mothers, because my mother has definitely been a really important part of my life and a really big impact, because she is the one who's always there with me in the hospitals, the one that is there for me when I think about suicide, the one that is there when I'm having a schizophrenic episode, when I literally yell at the top of my lungs that she's trying to kidnap me because I go out of reality. And unfortunately, mental diseases are like that, and there's no control that you have over it. But my mom has been the one person that stuck with me through all my life, and I'm never gonna have or be able to repay her for everything that she's done for me. So that chapter is just simply talking about how my mother has always protected me, but unfortunately, no matter how much she protects me, she can't protect me from the world, which I wish it would be something that all mothers could do for the child and then not ever make them suffer, but unfortunately, it's not like that.
Yeah, yeah, I totally understand that. Reading your book, I love how you put so much thought into your words and so much care you put into that book. I could really tell that you do. Speaking about the book, how was the writing process like? You know, some writers are have writer's block or some have dyslexia. How was it for you? Was it hard to make these chapters based on people that you know, or was it somewhat of an easy process?
The first few chapters was an easy process because it's something that I've talked about over and over in therapy, so it was something easy to write. But the middle chapters are the problem. I'm currently having writer's block where I can't really process what to say or what to really input there, because it's just such strong content for me and have such strong emotions. So yeah, that's kind of a little hard to process. Depending on which chapter or what part of my life I'm talking about is which kind of gets a little harder on my throat, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely do know what you mean. Um, so, if you want to, let's speak about you in particular. Like you said, you wanted to be a writer when you grew up. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I definitely want to be a known writer. Well, I'm already at the age of 18, so I could already start.
Um, do you, uh, I'm assuming that you've done your research on the industry of writing and all these stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you think it's really possible to do it, or do you think it's going to be hard at first, or do you think it's easy?
Definitely is going to be one of the hardest things that I've ever done in life. But impossible, it's not. It's really not.
Sorry about that. Okay, so about your career so far, how do you how do you like it so far? Tell me about it.
Well, so far, I'm known in Rec Room for, for having the book out and stuff like that. And it's pretty nice, when somebody comes up to me and says, hey, I really like your book. I really like what you wrote. Like, that encourages me to keep on writing and keep on putting more spiciness into my books and making the characters and all the settings just flutter into this amazing masterpiece that I know I could create and just make somebody stay and just make them lost in my book. That's what I want. That rush, that adrenaline.
Yeah, I can really tell that you do have that, sense of, um, I can really tell you that you have that in you, Um, I a lot of people, uh, tell me about your book, and I know there's one person, I don't know if they want to be mentioned, but I just won't mention them, that, really fell in love with your book and really inspired me to do this interview because, you know, recently there's been a lot of stuff happening in this community. If you couldn't tell, there's a lot of stuff I don't want to get into, but I'm surprised that you haven't really got into that because many people, including myself, I'm aware about myself and how I get myself into these situations, but you in particular, with a lot of people that are at your throat, I'm surprised that you don't say something back as often as they do. Tell me about that. Tell me about how you take criticism about yourself and about the book and all that stuff.
Well, recently, I think one of the hardest probably they think it's one of the hardest criticisms I'm just gonna mention her. It would probably be from Queen Rose at Bears. Uh, she has definitely been one of the hardest Rec Room players to even be in the same lobby as in because I get into the lobby and she automatically kicks me out. And somebody asked her a question which was that I was making a book and she just totally just dissed me and said that how I was apparently was famous enough and how she was a real famous one and then nobody cared about my book basically. And honestly, that didn't discourage me at all. It actually gave me more power to keep going because I know what type of person she is and I know that just she honestly isn't gonna get to me and hasn't gotten to me, but she definitely thinks that her words have any effect on me. And well, we're trying to put some legal action into that because she has taken things, at least with me, a little bit too far. So I already warned her about it, but she doesn't seem to listen. But people will be people, and we're just really hard to manage with.
Yeah, I have heard about that, that you're going to take legal action on her. Um, yeah, do you mind if I talk about one situation? No.
No, go ahead.
Um, so I was just strolling around Rec Room, and yeah, I was with her and her boyfriend. Um, and yeah, do you remember? Do you know your friend G Dog? Of course you do, right?
Yes.
Yeah, funny guy. I've heard him in Rex a lot. Really raunchy dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
she dislikes
Why my feet
the
hurt.
hell
Oh my
out
God,
of
what's
G Dog.
up?
Like so much so that he joined and she just kicked her. She kicked him out. It was crazy.
Yeah, she kicks him out because, well, she being a 17-year-old sent nudes to a 12-year-old, which G-Dog was at the time, just for an anime skirt in Rec Room, which is pretty pathetic, but That's why her conscience doesn't really probably let her live with that. So maybe that's the reason why she kicks her out so much. I mean him.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to go off into a bunch of drama. But
Don't
let me
worry.
talk about your book again. Do you feel free whenever what's the feeling that you get whenever you write these books? And do you try to be as original as possible, or do you like try to do you get inspiration from other books?
Well, I try to be the most original as possible, but honestly, if anything, my inspiration wouldn't be off of the books. It would probably be off music. And especially the music that me and little Tiger-kun listen to over here.
Um, yeah, Tiger. I know that he's been a big inspiration to you. Can you talk about that real quick?
I would probably go speechless if I ever talk about him. Well, he's just the same person that's been there for me 24/7. It's that relationship that is unbreakable, just a type of relationship that I've never really experienced before. And it's amazing. And it's just so hard to put it into words because I know that it's something that's never going to be broken. And I'm confident in that. And I love that. And shout out to him for always being there for me and standing me with my pettiness or my jealousy or just me being me. And he's just an amazing person.
Um, okay, so if you don't mind, do you want to get into the questions people ask me, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let me pull them up real quick. I'm sorry for that. I had to pull them up.
Don't worry.
I got a user that said, "Hi Mugi, I loved your book. I don't know if they want to be shouted out or something, but yeah, they said that. You got anything to say to them?"
I would say thank you so much. Thank you for even having the time to read my book. Like, I really appreciate it, and it's because of people like you that I even write. So thank you so much for that.
Um, they also asked, I know we went through this, but what's your, he asked, what's your diagnosis? If you don't mind talking about it again, or do you want to go in more detail about it?
I don't mind going into detail about it.
All right, can you do that for us, please?
Alright, so basically I have ADHD, I have severe depression, I have an anxiety disorder, I suffer with panic attacks, I also have stomach spasms which is created by anxiety. It makes my whole physical system just like really torn down whenever I'm anxious, and which is the reason why I'm 24/7 at the hospital. I have schizo. I I have a lot of suicidal thoughts. There's a term for it, but I just can't think of the term. And also, I have something called compulsory thoughts, which is just like really, really bad thoughts that you just can't get out of your head with it, which is kind of like schizophrenia, but a little bit more aggressive in a way, but something that can be more easily controlled than schizo. So, and I have much more, but I just can't remember because it's like literally a whole list. And yeah.
Did you have those growing up? Was that, or did it slowly like build up inside of you? Did you have those diagnoses when you were younger?
Well, I didn't have any of those diagnoses except for anxiety and depression when I started kindergarten because, like in my book says, for everything that I've been through, I had a lot of trauma due to that. So that's how kind of my anxiety and my depression started. But the rest has just been developing uh, all just in course of my life. So yeah, just for everything that's happened in my life.
Um, Another user asked, how many unfinished books or half finished books do you have?
Currently 5.
5. I 5?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. With those coming out, what are those stories behind if you don't mind talking about the ones that you're about to release? What are the
Well,
stories driven, like, behind those books?
well, one of them, the ones that I mentioned earlier, it's a surprise for little Bella. Another one of them is like poetry, just plain poetry and prose and just like prose poetry. Prose is another form of poetry, which is just like scrambles of words, but it's still considered art and poetry. And also another one of them is well, the one that I'm writing right now because it's still unfinished, and the other two are, one is like kind of like long distance relationship type of thing, like what if kind of like SAO type of thing, like long distance in VR or something like that. And the fifth one is a surprise. So, yeah.
Oh wow, thank you for sharing that. Another user asked, if you could tell your younger self something, what would it be?
It would probably be right sooner. Definitely.
Oh, that's smart. Um, uh, one user asked, do you edit your own books, or do you have someone look over your books about your writing process?
Well, what I do is, I edit my own books, but currently, me and my friends are gonna start working together because my grammar isn't the best. Because when I write, I just go off flow and I don't care about the grammar. So basically, I'm just going off flow while she's correcting all my work and like type of thing. So she's gonna be like my little editor for now. So that's about it.
Oh, okay. Who's this friend that you're talking about that helps you?
Well, she actually has played Rec Room before. Her name is Cynthia, so shout out to Cynthia. Yeah, she's not really a really big Rec Room player, but she has tried out the game before.
Mm. Talking about your book, who inspired you to create your book, and yeah, who inspired you? Like any writers or anything?
Definitely not any writers, but people in my life.
Yeah, yeah. I could yeah, I could tell. Um, yeah, thank you for having me. That's all the questions I have for people. One more question that I would like to ask you is, if if you could tell anyone in the world one wish that you want, what would it be?
I would want everyone to be happy because nobody deserves to go through trauma, mental illnesses, family problems, or just anything in general. I have so many friends and I see them suffering due to their daily problems and including myself, my mental health problems, and I just wish none of us had to go through that and just wished everybody the best and to keep going and not to ever give up, even though it seems really hard. But that would be my biggest wish, to see everyone in the world happy.
Thank you. Asking that question to a bunch of people really tells a lot about what they want and who they really are. But yeah, that's all the time. That's all I have on the top of my head and what I wrote down. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you for having this interview with me and for even doing this. Alright, so we're done. Nice meeting you. Alright, we could...